Good evening, everybody. Dr. Carmen Eccles here. It's been a little bit over 24 hours since Roe v. Wade has been overturned. I'm sure all of you have heard by now. If you haven't heard, probably been living under a rock. I wanted to put a video out about that yesterday, and I honestly made 51 videos about my feelings about it, and I deleted every single last one of them. They all had these fancy formal introductions, and I just felt like I wasn't speaking from the heart, so I'm going to speak from the heart. And if I sound kind of scattered, sound kind of like I'm talking out the side of my neck, forgive me. I am tired. I am exhausted. The overturn has exhausted me. The implications have exhausted me. And some of the ignorance that I'm seeing spouted online has exhausted me. So I figure I'm going to do what I do best, and that is to educate you all as much as I can. So here goes. I'll tell you all what I've been hearing that's bothered me. I'm so glad Roe v. Wade's been overturned. Now maybe women will stop using abortion as birth control. Or, I disagree with abortion, except if a woman is raped, molested, or if it comes down to a pregnant woman and you save the life of the mother or the child, then I believe in abortion. Let me explain something about Roe v. Wade being overturned. It is all or nothing. Understand? Either a woman has a right to choose to end a pregnancy or she doesn't. There are no ifs, ands, buts, ultimatums. Well, if this happens, no. It's hard line, yes or no. So now that we have that out of the way, what does this mean? This means, on the surface, like a lot of people already know, if a woman gets pregnant, decides for whatever reason she doesn't want to carry the baby, she, depending on the state that she's in, I'm going to end this call for right now. That means that she won't be able to safely terminate the pregnancy. Her right is taken away. If a 9-year-old girl is impregnated by some crazy ass child molester, or if a woman is raped, if she's physically violated, in the state that she lives, she may not have access to a safe way to terminate that pregnancy. If a couple who is having a hard time with fertility and they want to undergo in vitro fertilization and they have embryos and then they're successful with their family, they have however many children they desire, and they have a few embryos left over. What happens to those embryos? They may not have the right to destroy the embryos. They may have to transfer them. Their own DNA, a married couple may have to transfer their embryos to somebody else so they can use them. That was covered under Roe v. Wade. So for all those people who are saying, yay, I'm so glad it's overturned, it's all or nothing. All or nothing. A woman's right to choose has been taken away, depending on the state that she lives in. Basically, the Supreme Court has stepped back and said, we're leaving it up to the states. We already know there are some states that live, their heads of government live in archaic, patriarchal times, and they feel like a woman shouldn't have the right to say what goes on with her body. So, a lot of people may think, well, what does this have to do with me? The societal and medical implications are what scares me. Forget about the fact that some of my patients may not have a right to do whatever with their body. The societal implications bother me. So now we're going to have potentially a generation where there are a lot of unwanted children. It's not just an unplanned pregnancy. Those women didn't want the children that would have yielded from those pregnancies, so they terminated. Well, guess what? We're going to have unwanted children. Are those unwanted children going to be abused? As a result of the abuse, are we going to have more people walking around with psychological problems that are either newly diagnosed or exacerbated because of the abuse? If a woman is forced to carry a pregnancy that she does not want, what is her mental state going to be like? Let alone consensual sex. If a woman or a girl, a 9-year-old girl, is raped and forced to carry a pregnancy to term, what is her mental state going to be like? A question was posed in a family medicine group I'm in. Are we going to need more NICU beds for babies who were disposed of in trash cans? Babies who were mutilated in an attempt to kill them because they weren't wanted and the woman couldn't get a safe abortion. We're going to need more NICU beds to serve these babies. Teachers, what are you going to see in you all's classrooms? Behavioral issues because the home situation isn't the best? You may not think it affects you, but it does. If you're anybody with a womb or you love somebody who has a womb, Roe v. Wade being overturned affects you. It just does. And I guess not only as a physician does this bother me, this bothers me as a Black woman in America. Because from what I have been told, what my understanding is from people who speak legalese, I don't speak legalese, I'm not an attorney, I'm a physician, but who speak legalese much better than I do, just your average citizen who votes, the same set of laws, jurisprudence that was used to determine that Black people were no longer 3/5 of a human being were the same laws that were used to make the decision in Roe v. Wade as it applied to exactly what humanity was and when humanity started. So my thing is, well, what does that mean for the rights of other people? I have patients who are in same-sex relationships. What does it mean for their rights to get good health care if they choose marriage, to be married? It's just a very slippery slope when you start taking away people's rights to do anything over their body and possibly prosecuting the physicians. If they go to a physician, the physician says, hey, I'm going to give you the safe way to do this abortion. Even prosecuting the physicians to do that, because technically, yeah, they would have broken the law, but you're trying to do what's safest and healthiest for your patient. I don't know, y'all. Like I said, all I can do is educate you all, give you all another perspective, because clearly there's a lot of misunderstanding about what Roe v. Wade being overturned, really the impact it actually has on society. I know I missed a lot of stuff. I probably rambled a little bit. My bad. Lots of things were going through my head. And that is pretty much all I have to say. I'm sure some of my colleagues will jump in with their own opinions on this video, and that's fine. But I'm just giving y'all another perspective. All right, y'all. Share if you find this interesting or find it informative. And I'll talk to y'all later. Have a good evening.